Hello, hello, hello. Here we go. Here we go. Hey, baby. Here we go. Here we go. Let's do this. Let's do this. Kind of tone this down. Let's talk about this. Hello, everyone, and welcome once again. I'm loud and I'm proud. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there, granddads, whatever. It's your day today. It's what I heard not too long ago. The priority list of holidays, and that Father's Day on that list is 20th. Halloween is I think 9th. Yeah, Father's Day is way down there, but that's okay. That's fine. That's how we roll. We bear the burden of being dads. That's just the way it is. Just the way it is. I am JT, aka the Master, and as you see above me and behind me, it's For No Reason Fantasy Football. Yes, it's For No Reason Fantasy Football, and I'm going to say this. I'm going to bring out a list of players that are on this as soon as I get it together here and show you my list of 1 through 12, my fantasy football mock draft of 2023 6.0. 6.0. That's what I'm talking about. And I know some people aren't going to agree with it, but that's fine. That's fine. It's a work in progress. I've always said it's a work in progress. But I can tell you this. This list is getting very close. It's getting very, very close to the finished product. And I'm going to take any and all criticism for this list, because the fact is, it is what it is, man. I'm going to tell you, it is what it is. And if you don't like it, too bad. I'm going to say too bad. Because I like this list. I'm looking at this list. I've been pondering this list since yesterday when we were on the FSP Fantasy Sports and Politics show. And I'll bring my esteemed co-host back as soon as I can. Mr. FSP, to you. And I meant to tell him yesterday, and before I bring him in, I meant to tell him yesterday that I'm very proud of him. He may not know it, he may not realize it, but I'm very proud of him. And as soon as I bring him on there, I'll tell him why. But I'm not going to reveal that right now, because I want to finish getting this list together. And I should have had it together before I had it. I thought I saved it, but I didn't. But that's fine. It's just like my list is a work in progress. So am I. Everybody should be a work in progress, because nobody's perfect in this world. So it is what it is. And I'm going to, as soon as I get the last few guys in this list together, then I'll reveal it and we can get on with the show. But before I get that, I'm going to definitely tell Mr. FSP why I'm proud of him. Because the fact is, he's done something that he hasn't done ever. Hasn't done ever. And I called him out on a few times, but he may not realize it. I see him in the background. He's trying to figure out, what the hell am I talking about? What's the old man talking about? Well, I'll tell him as soon as I bring him on. And let me just finish this one. And then I'm going to save this. Okay. I got it right where I want it. Okay. Let me bring on Mr. FSP to you, Mr. Victor Gardner. Welcome, my man. And I'm going to tell you I'm proud of you. I am proud of you. You finally did it. You finally did it.
I'm trying to figure out what.
What? Well, it's fantasy sports and politics, information, and that's
oh.
the background. Come on, man.
I have multiple platforms. I just haven't launched Extra Points in a while because the previous person I had launching it kind of conned me. So, but Extra Points will be a show. I'm just trying to figure out who I want to give it to and when I want to do it.
Well, I'm just saying, you're always touting fantasy sports and politics, and you finally put yourself in the background. It's about damn time. I'm telling you right now.
Okay. All right. Okay.
All right.
Also,
yes.
It's about damn time you're wearing a Cleveland Browns jersey as opposed to something else. I thought that was Willie McGinnis, but I don't know who number 54 is. Is that J.O.K.?
54 happens to be my birth year. My son's
so that's a custom jersey.
Yes, my sons gave me to this. And let me if I can turn this around. Turn myself around.
Yeah, it's got your name on it.
Got my name on it. It's a custom jersey with my birth year on it. So with the Cleveland Browns on it.
Happy Father's Day.
Same to you, my man. Same to you.
I thought that was your height. My bad.
That's all right. See, you're trying to instigate.
Yes,
Yes, that's right. It's not happening. It's not happening. It's not happening. I gotta turn over whole new leaf. It ain't happening. It ain't happening.
I hope. Because this is on LinkedIn as well.
Okay. Oh, okay. Now, as promised, here comes my fantasy football mock draft 6.0. Here we go. And at number 12, I have Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs was the most valuable fantasy asset during the fantasy football regular season based on his finish as the RB2 overall. And in his super cheap draft day average draft position. Now people are convinced that Jacobs would become part of a dreaded running back by committee last year under new head coach Josh McDaniels, but that was not the case. He had over 300 and something touches, if I'm not mistaken, or under new head coach. He was a full-blown bell cow, which I was very surprised under Josh Jacobs. For the Raiders, leading the NFL in touches through week 17. The 24-year-old is returning to Vegas on the dreaded franchise tag after leading the NFL with over 1,600 yards, 1,653 to be exact. Now, he got a similar cast of characters behind him, and it's not hard to think about the Raiders not heavily leaning on him again as a true feature back. Now, he hasn't signed his franchise tag and is the lone player not present at the Raiders mandatory mini camp as he's not under contract. He ain't showing up. It sounds like another player that I have in my top 12 that hasn't shown up yet because he's on the franchise tag and he happens to be a running back and he happens to be a little older, I think, than Josh Jacobs. Not much older.
He's younger.
Okay, he's younger, whatever. But hasn't endured the injury bug as he has endured the injury bug compared to Josh Jacobs, who hasn't. So I have Josh Jacobs sitting at my number 12 position. Oof. Let me say that again. At my number.
Are you okay? You had a little
at my number 12 position. Come on, man. You know I fumble my words at times. Come on, stop. Anyway, don't make a difference. I don't imbibe at all. No drinking. No illegal drugs, nothing. It's all pure. Ooh, that didn't bode well for me, but it's all pure. Anyway, at number 12, Mr. FSP. At number 12, I'm feeling good today, man. At number 12, what is your thoughts on Mr. Josh Jacobs at number 12?
I don't have a real big problem with Josh Jacobs at number 12. I'm looking at it from the standpoint of Jacoby Myers, Hunter Renfrow, and Devontae Adams having a good season because of him. So I think, regardless of who the quarterback is, with him running the ball, those three persons will do well this year. I just don't think. I don't think he's a first rounder. You mentioned something. He carried the ball over 300 plus times last year. He was nicked up during the season. The infamous last second play game where he got over 300 plus rushing yards was a killer for a lot of us that didn't play him or had to play him that game. Now, here's something that I think you should have mentioned when you said cast characters behind him. The rookie you talked about last year.
Yes.
That the Raiders drafted.
Yeah.
Amir Abdullah, and this kid that you said last year.
Jameer White.
I think they're going to eat into some of his time this year because of exactly what you said. 300 plus carries.
Yeah. Okay.
And that doesn't include his pass receptions. So I'd be worried. I have a different player at number 12. I have Travis Etienne, or I forgot who else had at number 12, or 13. Or Jalen Hurts at number 12 for what they do, and the fact that they're not going to have that much. Well, Hurts ain't going to have any competition, but Etienne really is not going to have that much of a threat of anybody, touching the ball more than him from the backfield. But I mean, I can't complain about Josh Jacobs being in your top 12.
Okay.
I can't complain about one or other player, but I'll wait to get to him.
Okay. As you can see, at number 11, could be Nick Chubb. Now, he had 1,525 rushing yards and last year. The Browns running back averaged 5 yards a carry, and that's not an anomaly. That's Nick Chubb, probably one of the best pure running backs in the league, not just because he's a Cleveland Brown. It's just because he's Nick Chubb, and posted a career-high 13 touchdowns. Now, I can promise you this, 13 touchdowns. He finished the year as running back 6 overall with a top 10 backfield opportunity share of 64%. But most of his fantasy production came before, and I'll say this, before Deshaun Watson returned to the lineup. During week,
here
we go. I'm stating fact, man.
No,
Hey,
I'm just seeing the now that Deshaun's here, he's not as valuable type conversation about to happen.
I'm just giving you the facts.
Yeah.
Just the facts, ma'am. Just the facts.
Ma'am. Oh, really? Okay. This is your show. I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be good.
That's the facts, ma'am. Anyway, he finished the year as running back 6, but most of his fantasy production came prior to Deshaun Watson returning to the lineup. During week 1 to week 12, Chubb was the running back 4 overall in points per game. From weeks 13, that's Deshaun Watson time, to week 17 with Watson at quarterback, he was the running back 23 and running back 23 overall and running back 33 in points per game. Now, that likely won't happen in 2023. The offense overall efficiency, Chubb may be a bust-proof draft pick based on the track record of consistency. Chubb also can capture a a more prominent role as a receiver because he can catch the ball out of the backfield with Kareem Hunt and Dearness Johnson gone. Now, and Jerome Ford being pegged as a RB2. In week 18, Chubb played a season high 75% snap share, ran a route on 71% of dropbacks, and caught 5 of 6 targets for 45 yards. 5 or 6 targets. He added 9.5 points if you're in PPR. He added 9.5 points to his overall total that year. I mean that week. So he can catch the football out of the backfield, and I can truly believe that Kevin Stefanski is going to incorporate him more into the passing game because Jerome Ford is a very good back, but if you got one of the best running backs running the football, you would want to give him opportunities in the passing game. So I do believe Nick Chubb is warranted to be a 11th pick in my first round. Talk to me.
I have no problem with Nick Chubb at 11. As I said at the top, after seeing what's scrolling, I only have maybe 1 or 2 complaints or comments. I shouldn't say complaints. Comments where you have players. I think that's about right for Chubb because in PPR leagues, his value only is that good is when he scored them touchdowns because he's a runner. He's not going to receive the ball that much out of the backfield. And unless your league gives some type of points for your running backs or others catching the ball or running the ball, I should say, you know, his value in PPRs isn't that great. So he is on the bottom end. But if you give him in a traditional or you get him in, you know, a league that gives you points, like 1 point per touch, then he's very valuable. So that's where I end there.
Okay. This next player, as you see, at number 10, needs no introduction, needs no other than that Cooper Kupp was on pace to be again the number 1 receiver in fantasy before he had unexpectedly gotten hurt. And Matthew Stafford is healthy for now. Let me put it that way. He's healthy for now. So I can foresee Cooper Kupp getting, and there's really nobody else in the passing game of note, in the receiver of note, to take up most of what Cooper Kupp does. So what I'm thinking is this: he's warranted in the first round because he's Cooper Kupp. Only reason he didn't succeed last year because of injury. As long as he doesn't get injured, and that's with all these players, as long as they don't get injured, in my opinion, they deserve a first round pick. And I think Cooper Kupp, because he's going to be the focal point in the passing game with Matthew Stafford. They've got a bond like this in the passing game. So I'm thinking Cooper Kupp still will be extremely high level if he and Stafford are healthy. Both of them have to be healthy. Otherwise, it ain't going to work. It'll work, but it won't work as well. Let me put it that way. Cooper Kupp, number 10.
Of course, I have Cooper Kupp a little higher. I'm high on him, period. I think you made a couple of valid points as to not having that much around him. I mean, Van Jefferson and Tutu Atwell aren't, the biggest names. But if Van Jefferson can remain consistent, because he was consistent last year, and Atwell, they use his speed to their advantage, Cooper Kupp's going to continue to Cooper Kupp. He's going to continue to get 100+ receptions, 8 or 9 touchdowns, if not more. He's the favorite target. Tyler Higbee's there. Tyler Higbee was the second leading target person for the Rams last year and the year before that. Just put that in perspective. the tight end was the second leading target getter for the past 2 years behind Cooper Kupp. So I would say, especially with Stafford coming back and Kupp coming back, I think he's going to be higher. And the fact that he's going to slip to the mid to probably late first, and some people might not even take him in the first, is a beautiful thing to me. Because if I'm at the back end of the draft, I'm going to get Cooper Kupp if he's there. And I'll follow it up with a running back. I have no problem with that.
Okay. Speaking of tight end.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of tight end, this tight end played 17 games, had 110. Now, listen to me. Had 110 receptions. You can yawn all you want.
That was a real yawn.
Had 152 targets and caught 110 and had 1,338 total yards out of a tight end. Speaking of somebody who's a favorite target of one of the best, if not the best, quarterback in the NFL, Travis Kelce, I have at number 9. Talk to me. I know you do. You just Travis Kelce.
No,
oh, okay. He's like a number 1 wide receiver, but you get him in the tight end position.
Yeah, that's true. Look, I can see him going in the second round. I'm just not a big get a tight end in the first round type guy. That's just me. That's my personal preference.
Okay.
I know you're getting the best tight end, but I'm not putting him above Cooper Kupp. I would put him above Josh Jacobs. I would. I wouldn't put him above Nick Chubb.
Wow, really?
So to each his own. I'm just not a guy that wants a tight end in the first round. That's just me.
That's fine. Personal
I know
preference.
too many league champions that have drafted their tight end first. That's
okay.
That's just me.
Okay. I know you got a bone to pick with number 8.
I ain't got a bone to pick. I don't like when you got him above a player or two.
It rubs you the wrong way, but that's okay.
It's all right. It's all right.
That's okay.
All right.
I got the cheetah at number 8, Tyreek Hill. 17 games, 170 targets, 119 receptions, 1,710 yards. Come on, man. I mean, really? Come on. Tyreek Hill is a big play waiting to happen and pays off. 10 touchdowns. Come on, man. Tyreek Hill. I'm not even going to. He showed no decline. In fact, he was just as good, if not better, in Miami compared to being in Kansas City. Talk to me.
One, I did not Tyreek Hill. 2, listen, that's probably the only person on this list that, we can agree belongs on it. I just don't. Well, no, not. I still think he's a early second rounder. Just for me.
Oh my God! Really? You got it.
Just for me.
I got to ask you this question.
So I don't have him above Cooper, not at all, because Tyreek is a bang or bust type of receiver. You can't really expect him to provide you 10 points a game.
Oh, I have to beg to differ.
Well, I'm just saying, I believe that if Tyreek gets like 5 balls and none of them are big plays, it's not going to be that big of a production day for him. Just my opinion. I think he'll get some. Yep, just like Brody says, it's because of Waddell. And that's my whole point, Brody. That's my whole point. And I've said it many times before on this show and on my show. Waddell is a really good target, really good. I mean, keep it up there so people can read it. Keep it up there so people can read it. What? You just put it there for a second.
It's because of Waddle. You can't read. You can't read that fast.
I mean, I can speed read, but not everybody, especially your age, can speed read.
Stop.
But I'm just saying.
I thank you.
I like him, just not right there.
Brody, I'm not sure who you are, but I appreciate you listening. Let me put it
down. He's a buddy of mine.
Okay, I definitely appreciate you listening. Please jump on in and make your comments as much and as soon as much as possible, because I'm telling you right now, there's going to be a lot of things either Mr. FSP or my listeners won't like or disagree with, and that's fine. That's fine.
Well, this week not so much, but past weeks, Brody and I would have been tag teaming you. Okay. I would have had a road dog on there.
No problem. I got no problem. I keep telling you, this is a work in progress. It fluctuates. And I said it earlier. I don't know if you hear, but I said it earlier that this is getting closer and closer to what I feel should be in the first round. This is really close. I'm telling you right now, this is June. We got a couple more months, but this is really, really close. I tell you, as we getting closer to the fantasy football season, and as promised, I said I was going to fine tune it. And this is what I'm doing. I'm fine tuning this. Okay, that's what it is. All right,
You're tuning it up. Let's tune it up around.
And let's go to lucky number 7. I don't know how lucky this is because he still hasn't signed with the team and he's holding out. So how much he's going to hold out? This is true. This is true. This is true. Tua health also determines Hill production. Absolutely. Now, did I leave it up there long enough? I have no problem.
I'm trying to help you. This is what I do for a living. I'm trying to help you.
Okay.
But go ahead.
I don't do this for a living, but I do this anyway. Anyway. Okay. Anyway, I've gone to number 7, and he even said he's going to hold out in the regular season if you don't get a decent.
I didn't hear that part. When did he say that?
He said that if games are played, he may not be part of that game. So he may not be in training camp because he don't have a contract. He ain't signed a contract. He got signed it by July.
Yeah.
Franchise tag. He got trying to sign it by July. Anyway, I got Saquon Barkley. He's finally healthy in 2022 and reaped the rewards of playing in a much better offensive environment. That's Brian Dable. He finished as the RB5 overall and in points per game as he was able to recapture his explosive upside as both a rusher and a receiver. Barkley finished second in overall touches. Man, wow. 352 and background opportunity share, 80% behind only Josh Jacobs through 17 weeks. He also scored 10 rushing touchdowns with 23 carries inside the 10-yard line in 2021. Barkley totaled just 13 red zone touches all season. Let's Barkley return to glory show that you want to target young impending free agent running backs and improve offensive situations that project to earn high volume with proven records of production. Saquon Barkley, 16 games he played, 295 attempts, 1,312 yards, and 4.4 yards attempt. Talk to me, Mr. FSP.
Saquon, I can't speak about the holding out during the regular season, but I want to point something out before you go to the next player. Running backs this year really feel like they've been crapped on.
Yeah. Oh, that's
They really feel like they've been crapped on.
Yep.
So they're taking a stance. Austin Eckler, even though Austin said he's going to play.
Right.
Saquon,
Yep.
Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs hasn't signed his either, by the way.
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs hasn't signed his either.
That's right.
So, Barkley is a dynamic player. If Daniel Dimes and Saquon made that team, literally, when your running back is second in receptions and first in touches and all this, that says how valuable he is. So and I pointed out to you last year, when that rookie left tackle was in, Saquon had good games. I think the 3 weeks that left tackle didn't play, Saquon had subpar games. It started with that left tackle and that offensive line. When that left tackle's in there, expect big things from Saquon. So as I said, I only have a couple beefs with this lineup you got here. This isn't one of them.
Okay. 57 receptions, 338 yards. That was what Saquon did last year. All right, let's move on to the next player. And I know there's a lot of people that say, no, this ain't going to happen. But I got to say that.
Here's my beef.
Saquon, if I'm not mistaken, was a first-round pick when he was a rookie. Todd Gurley, I think, if I'm not mistaken, was a first-round pick when he was a rookie. There's been several running backs that have been rookies that have been first-round picks in fantasy football drafts. And let me see what Brody has to say. They attacking running backs. You see how many are free agents. They need to take a stand. Barkley had a good year, and finally it wasn't hurt. I totally agree. Brody. I'm a running back fan. As if you've listened to my shows over the years, whether I've been on the FS Fantasy Sports and Politics show, on this show, or the prior show named The Master Plan, I am a huge running back fan. And I can't understand. I understand that they take running backs at 22, 23 years old out of college and play them for 4 years, and they turn around to be 27, 28 years old and throw them away and try to pick up a younger one for a cheaper price. I understand that. But if that running back is 27, 28 years old and serviceable and hasn't reached that plateau of 1,500 touches and can still play, why are you getting rid of him? Because the formula or the majority of the team say, well, this running back is no longer as effective as we want him to be. So we got to get rid of him and get somebody fresh out of college again. And that cycle continues. When for the most part, you still can get some production and quality production out of so-called older running backs. But if they have 1,500 to 2,000 touches, then there is a question mark that needs to be answered about how good that running back still is. But if you got Saquon Barkley, come on, man. He's still a good running back. You got Austin Eckler. Come on, man. He's still a good running back. I mean, they're asking I wouldn't say a crazy prices, but they're asking like $10 million and up. Come on, man. You got to be realistic. That's the problem I have. That's the problem I have. At what price do you pay an older running back? But then
here's what I was going to say. I was holding it in and trying to not interrupt you.
Okay.
You got Dalvin Cook, Ezekiel Elliott, and these other younger backs you just talked about. All of them still productive. Zeke and Dalvin have some injuries, but still productive, very productive. You even said this a couple years ago. I agree with you. The value of the running back in the NFL has diminished. And we see this as the trend in fantasy football shows more wide receivers, including in your past couple ones, more wide receivers are being drafted in the first round over the past couple years than ever. It's like the value of the running back in fantasy is also shown in the NFL because you're not drafting. In this one, you have what, 4 receivers, 4 or 5 receivers. But in previous ones, you've had like 6. Half of the first round is wide receivers. The NFL has gone to a pass happy system.
Well, that's been like that for at least 3 or 4 years. At least
that's what I was saying. And that dictates the value of that running back. Now, we see that the power running back has shifted to the back end of fantasy. Whereas even in this, your more pass receiving running backs that can do everything are toward the front.
Well,
now, we got to get back to Bijan Robinson at your number, what is it, 6 or whatever it is? But he is a typical example of what the NFL is definitely going to. Because the man can catch the ball. The man can run the ball. The problem is the man is in a timeshare, a legit timeshare, because the guy there in front of him did exactly all that last year. But the system dictates that the kid's going to touch the ball. But I'm not going to steal your thunder. Go ahead and talk about your player.
Let me put it this way. My next player is in a timeshare. But in the timeshare, if I'm not mistaken, the Atlanta Falcons for the running back position had 450 either rushes or touches total. So in that timeshare, even if it's a 50-50, that player, whether it's Bijan Robinson or Tyler Algier, is going to get over 200 touches. 200 touches. What running back, if he's worth any salt, is not going to have quality points with over 200 touches? And even in the timeshare, this timeshare, if it was 50-50, and I don't think it's going to be 50-50, I thought it's going to be more like 65-35, somewhere around there. But you got they're the second or the most running team in football. In football, the Atlanta Falcons. And he can do it. He can run the football, and you can split him out. And I've always talked about this. You got to have a triple threat running back. And most people say, well, what the hell is a triple threat?
Block.
You got to be able to block. You got to be able to catch. And quite naturally, what's his skill position? Running back. That's triple threat to me. Got it. When he blocks, he's in the passing game. That means at any time he's in there, the defense is not sure if he's going to get the ball or it's going to a receiver or a tight end. And that's invaluable. And this is ironic. You say, and I agree with you. You say that in the NFL they're downplaying the running back position. Okay, when it comes to money, they're downplaying the running back position.
Yes,
but every team in the NFL is looking for that running back because they want to be able to run the ball first, set up play action, and have the quarterback have more of an advantage to be able to get the ball down the field. So they're trying to have their cake and eat it too. So come on, man. Pay the man. With my next pick in my draft, as you see, I have Bijan Robinson, the rookie, who is touted a combination of speed and power. He can beat you in a variety of ways as a rusher. He has very good vision, and with his efficient footwork and an extensive tool bag of moves. But let me tell you this, people. I said it yesterday, and I'm saying it again today. Do not underestimate his running mate. When he was in college in Texas. Do not downplay or forget about his running mate when he was with the University of Texas. 6'2", 220, 250, 220, something like that. I'm talking about Roshan Johnson, who's supposedly the backup to the backup running back in Chicago. Don't discount him. Do not discount him. If you have a chance to pick him up later in the draft, I suggest you do so, because he's no slouch either. But he had this guy, this monster, in front of him, Bijan Robinson. He has the strength to excel in downhill gap scheme, the juice to plant and go outside zone runs. If he wasn't so talented his 2022 could have looked quite different. The Texas offensive line was not all that in 2022. His power success rate went from 45th. They dropped from 420. They dropped from 13th and 43rd in stuff rate and power success rate to 45th and 90th. That's how bad his offensive line was. You got a quality offensive line with this guy behind it. Oh man, this is fantasy goodness. That's why I have him at number 6. Bijan Robinson, number 6.
Ladies and gentlemen, with all that being said, I don't like the timeshare at all. There needs a three-headed back monster in Atlanta. I'm just going to tell you that right now. With Cordell Patterson going back to the kickoff and punt return duties and the changes in the rules of kickoff and punt returns, stuff like that, he'll have more time to run the ball. It's going to be, Bijan, Huntley, Patterson. I'm telling you. And we're looking at Drake London and Kyle Pitts being second-tier players when if they're in any other system, they're frontline first players along with Bijan Robinson. Now, this will be a benefit to Bijan that he's going to share the load. Eventually, I believe Bijan's going to take the job. Not this year. I believe Huntley is going to still be a part of it. And eventually, since he was a low draft pick, or not that high of a draft pick, he still owed money. So they're going to have to pay this guy for the next 2 years at least. So understand where I'm coming from when I say this. Bijan Robinson does not belong in the first round. I understand what Jerry's saying, that Todd Gurley, Saquon all those guys were drafted in the first round. All those guys didn't have to share the load either. All those guys came in as the guy. That's the difference here. As the guy. Not taking 10 to 15 snaps a game. Now, a case study for Jerry's reasoning. Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb averaged like 15 carries a game. 12 to 15 carries a game with Kareem Hunt. Nick Chubb did a lot with those small carries. The difference is he's not Nick Chubb. At least I think he's a bigger, stronger Barry Sanders. And oddly enough, Barry Sanders is Bijan's the guy that he followed and wants to be like. He's not an Adrian Peterson. He's not. So he all day, maybe, but those 10 or 15 touches, he's going to have to make them count every time. I'm going to side with you on one more thing, Jerry, and Brody got a long comment. But Bijan's upside is they can put him in the slot like Christian McCaffrey and still have the other running back in the backfield and give Atlanta a lot of threats to throw the ball if they decide to throw it. But I don't think he belongs there. But go ahead and go with Brody's comment.
Okay, I agree. He's not a first round pick. Okay, that's fine. I'm a Longhorn fan. I watched them both play. I agree. Both running backs can be successful. I do believe the Falcons will potentially run him in the ground. Besides the running game, they only have Pitts and potentially London. I agree with that. You're right. But I still think he's a first round pick. I think he's going to show his ass. Let me put it that way. I think he's going to show his ass. And we don't know yet. I mean, yes, I said earlier that there's Tyler Algier and there's a potentially timeshare, but we don't know how much of a timeshare that's going to be. Is it 50-50, 65-35, 55-45, 70-30? We don't know. We don't know. We do know that they're going to want to run the football. We do know that they thought that much of them that they picked them where they picked them in the first round in the draft. So that we do know if you're a running back picked high within the top 10 in the NFL draft, they're going to use the hell out of you. They're going to use the hell out of you. And they should. And they should. You don't pick a guy that high and not use him. And use him extensively. Anyway, let's move on to the next. My namesake, who was a bust last year, was most people's first pick in the draft. I railed against that. I said CMC was. And the fact is he underperformed as a running back in only 11 games because he got hurt, averaging 12.6 fantasy points as a running back 18 when healthy. Jonathan Taylor's usage was that of a top 8 running back, 8th in expected points per game, 4th in touches per game. That's 20. But a lack of touchdowns really hurt his fantasy stock in the Colts offense, which you couldn't call it an offense. You couldn't call it an offense. Okay. I'm Brody just lighting up my comment board, but that's fine. That's fine.
Keep it going, Brody. You don't know how we roll, brother.
And after scoring a combined 33 touchdowns through
Matter of fact, hold on, Jerry. Before you go any further, I want to give something away on your show.
Okay.
I have a Warren Moon autographed Houston Oilers jersey or a Clemson Travis Etienne jersey. So what I'm going to do next week.
Okay.
Next week. You get your listenership up, I'll give away one of those 2 jerseys. It's going to be trivia on Warren Moon, the Houston Oilers, University of Washington, University of Clemson, or Travis Etienne. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
I'm going to do that for you on your show because you can't win it.
Yeah, I know you some. That's okay. That's all right. Anyway.
And I'll do it also on my show. But
okay. Well, you advertise it on your show and advertise it on my show, which is fine. One on one on the other. How's that?
I just did it for your show first.
Okay.
It's the beginning of the week.
Okay, no problem. Anyway, that's a good thing. Anyway, after scoring combined, like I said, 33 touchdowns first 2 seasons, Taylor scored just 4 rushing touchdowns last year. Now, I expect him to bounce back. Is Anthony Richardson going to hurt his stock or improve his stock? Because and I don't have the facts, a running quarterback improves the value or improves a really good running back because now you have 2 guys in the backfield that the defense has to account for. 2 guys in the backfield that defense has to account for. Are you going to be able to key on the running back, or are you going to be able to key defensive-wise on the running quarterback? So even though there's a running quarterback in the Colts backfield, I think Jonathan Taylor is still going to be able to be effective as long as he's healthy. Let me put it that way. Because I don't think as anemic and as many quarterbacks that the Colts went through last year. They went through three quarterbacks, three or four quarterbacks, whatever it was. None of them were effective. And the offense suffered for it. Now you have a high draft pick that you expect that from a coach that's going to coach this quarterback and his skill set, and a really good running back in Jonathan Taylor in the backfield, which is going to be a definite threat for the defense, for the offense against the defense. Mr. Jonathan Taylor, JT, what do you think?
Now, I think Jonathan Taylor is a prime candidate for a bounce back player of the year. He and Cooper Kupp, in my opinion, are two prime candidates. I really believe that the offensive coordinator for Philly went to Indy. He's going to run Jonathan Taylor. No, the defensive coordinator. No, it was offensive coordinator. It was
offensive coordinator, yeah.
He's going to run Jonathan Taylor. He's going to run him.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not forget they still got Zach Moss as well. They've also got Mr. Jackson. Now, I know Jackson was a guy that Jerry liked in the middle of the season last year, and then soured on him towards the end of the season. He's like a used sanitary napkin to Jerry. But they're going to mix all three of those players in there. But best believe that Jonathan Taylor is going to be that bell cow. Whoever slides with him, because he's going to slide. I don't think on your rankings here, I think you got him about right, but I don't think people are going to pick him that high. I think they're going to wait to the back end, even go into the second round.
Why is that?
Honestly.
Why is that? Because of his injury history?
No. Remember we talked about wide receivers.
Oh, wide receivers. Okay.
Wide receivers.
Oh, then you're getting a great value if you pick him up.
Exactly. Yeah. That's my point. Most people are going to have Tyreek Hill, as you said a couple weeks ago. You got confused as I don't know what, but Tyreek Hill was like the number 3 wide receiver and number 6 or number 7, whatever. I was like, what?
Yeah.
People are going to try to get Tyreek top 5, top 6.
I can see that. I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
And that's why I'm saying a player like Jonathan Taylor is going to slip to the back end of your draft of the first round.
Okay.
Maybe even to the second round, because people were like, okay, they got a crappy quarterback, a new head coach, and the system's kind of bad. They might let him, and he's coming off injury, they're going to let him slip. And I guarantee you, whoever grabs him is going to be happy. I'm telling you right now, if I get in the league where we're doing draft pick trading outside of my own, I'm trading for like a lot of second round draft picks. I'll give up my first because I'm going to get Jonathan Taylor, Cooper Kupp, and a couple of other players. They're on my radar.
Okay. All right. 17.
Don't try to steal my thunder, man. I know how you get.
Say what?
Don't try to steal my thunder. I know how you get. Calvin Ridley.
Deshaun Watson. Hey, man.
Deshaun Watson and Calvin Ridley. Hey. But I ain't going to say nothing.
Hey, you don't have to say anything. They're my keepers. I never took them from anybody. They were just sitting out there waiting. Say, take me, please. And I said, don't worry.
No, because I mentioned them.
I got you, bro.
I mentioned them, and you are such a terrible friend for that. I would have never snaked you like that, Mr. Snake. But go ahead. Let's continue because the show's going on. Let's continue.
I know what's going on. You hurt me to my heart, man.
You hurt me to my heart.
Wait. I gotta say this because I said it before and I'll say it again. All's fair in love and fantasy. I don't know what to tell you, bro.
Oh, we're gonna talk about the love part. I ain't forgot what you said about that. But go ahead.
Anyway, Austin Eckler, 17 games played, 204 carries, 915 yards, 4.5 yards per carry attempt, and 107 receptions. What? 107 receptions, 720.
Better than Mike Williams. That's all I'm saying.
107 receptions. I'll say it again. 723 yards with a total from rushing and receiving of 18 touchdowns.
I thought it was 21.
21. I'm sorry. It's 21 because, yes.
Don't mess with my number one pick there, buddy.
Okay.
I know
Anyway, no player has scored more touchdowns over the past 2 seasons than Austin Eckler. The Chargers' red zone machine scored 18 touchdowns, 5 receiving 13 touchdowns a year after scoring 20 touchdowns in 2021. Okay? Simply put, those that decided not to draft Austin Eckler due to touchdown regression narratives got burned this past season. And the touchdowns were just part of Eckler's RB1 finish in a half-point scoring as he led all running backs in receptions and targets, which substantially boosted his fantasy numbers. Eckler was fully unlocked as a receiver with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams combined for missing 13 games. Until the Chargers wide receivers can prove they can stand the test of a 17-game season, you know he's going to be the focal point of LA offense. Now, let me put it this way. This is a running back. This is a running back. Played all 17 games. Wide receivers, hello. It's the passing league. Hello, these 2 wide receivers lost a combined 13 games they missed. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, the top 2 receivers for the Chargers, lost 13 games that they didn't play, and you had to make up that passing receptions for somebody, and it happened to be Austin Eckler. But they added Quentin Johnson also to this equation. So I'm thinking, and I tell you this, I don't think Austin Eckler is going to get close to 100 receptions. I don't think he's going to get close to 100 receptions. I think he's in a good spot at number 4, but you got an extra wide receiver that they drafted highly, that they think highly of in the rookie Quentin Johnson, along with the other wide receivers other than not named Mike Williams or Keenan Allen, that he may get over 100 targets, but he's not going to get 100 receptions. But he's going to be a quality fantasy asset on your team. Okay? So even if he doesn't get 100 receptions, that's still RB1 type of, and I'm going to say it, RB1 type of shit. Okay? That's still RB1 type stuff. So what's your thoughts, Mr. FSP? I know you absolutely got a love fest for Mr. Austin Eckler.
Yeah, I do. Say that again. 107 receptions.
Yeah.
How many times was he targeted? Like 120 times.
Okay.
So what I'm telling you guys is this. Jerry has him here. I got him at least 2 or 3. I think Justin Jefferson still will remain in the top area. Chase, yes. But Austin Eckler, 107 receptions. Plus he runs the ball. Now, I don't like Kellen Moore's system. But Kellen Moore's system is going to get him the ball just like you got Tony Pollard. And would you say that Tony Pollard is less than or better than Austin Eckler? I would say Austin Eckler is better than Tony Pollard. So I can imagine what Austin's going to do in that system. Now, Keenan Allen, old guy, getting injury prone. They were even talking about cutting him. Mike Williams signed a big deal but can't stay on the field. Donald Farham, tight end, big guy, should play more this year. Then they got another tight end this year. So who's getting the ball? It's gonna be Austin Eckler. I got him at number 2 or 3, not number 4.
Okay. At number 3.
Number 3.
At number 3, I got a very good wide receiver who had the love fest with his quarterback from the first year right up until last year. 87 receptions, 134 targets, 1,046 yards, 9 touchdowns. 9 touchdowns. And I don't expect Mr. Jamar Chase to disappoint this year. I think he's probably going to improve on that quite naturally. I'm thinking this season, because he only played 12 games last season. As long as he can stay healthy, he's going to get over 100 receptions. He had 133 targets. So just imagine if he played 5 more games, how many more targets he's going to get in relationship to receptions. I like Jamar Chase at number 3. And Mr. FSP, what's your thoughts? I know you like Austin Eckler number 3 or 2, but whatever.
I put Jamar Chase at number 4. I really do. Actually, I put him. Yeah, on your current list, I put him number 4. Only because I think Austin Eckler and Justin Jefferson and of course CMC are better for fantasy value. I mean, I can't knock where you got him. It's just a flip flop, but I just like CMC better.
All right, at number 2, 17 games, played all the games, 128 receptions out of 184 targets. I don't expect that to change. I think they're going to be throwing a pill all around the football field, regardless of who they're playing. 1,809 yards. Now, that number may change. It may go down a little bit because the fact is they got a very good wide receiver that they picked up in the draft in Jordan Addison, and he's going to take the place of Adam Thielen. He's more of an athletic receiver over an injury-prone Adam Thielen. 9 touchdowns. He finished first in fantasy points scored for the Vikings wide receiver. 10th in target share, 28% target share. 3rd in yards per route run, and 2nd in expected fantasy points per game, which was 15, almost 16 points in last year. His 11.1 expected touchdowns and 26 red zone targets tied for first among all wide receivers. With the Adam Thielen touchdown presence gone, and Jefferson coming off a low touchdown year where he only had 8 and 2 fewer from 2021, you can expect him to score inside the double digits in 2023. I got Justin Jefferson, the man, the best wide receiver in fantasy, at number 2. Talk to me.
It's going to hurt me to say this, but I think Justin Jefferson is going to probably regress. As I told you, the formula on beating Jefferson or stopping Justin Jefferson was shown in that game when they just pressed him. When they pressed the dude, that was it. If you notice, in the playoff game, Kirk Cousins couldn't get him the ball. The leading receiver was TJ Hawkinson. And Adam Thielen was getting some targets, but they could not get the ball to Justin Jefferson. Now, Thielen's gone, Dalvin's gone, but only person there that's an actual threat is Hawkinson. They're going to double team Justin, and they're going to jam him off the line, double team him, and force Kirk to make mistakes or go to somebody else. I really think this kid is great. I just think they're screwing him over by not keeping or giving him more weapons to be successful. So I got to drop him down a couple pegs, maybe 4 or 5, honestly. 4 to 5. Seriously. I think Austin's better. I think Jamar is in a better position. So I put them both ahead of him.
Okay. Well, this next player.
Finally, somebody listened to me. Finally, even though they're such a hater.
Don't even go there. Don't even go there because so many times.
I know.
So many times. So don't even go there.
Hey, bro.
Don't even go there.
Hands up, don't shoot.
Gonna jump on me.
Hands up, don't shoot.
I had an epiphany. I thought about this over and over again. Struggled with it. I've been losing sleep. As you can see, I haven't shaved in a while. I've been losing sleep. Do I put him at number one? Do I not put him at number one? Do I put him at number one? I know I made some compelling arguments about him and his past history. Do I carry that through to this month or forget about it and go balls to the wall with this kid? Traded to the 49ers in week 7 against the Kansas City Chiefs, and it didn't take long for him to take on a massive role, going for 40-plus fantasy points in just his second game in a San Francisco uniform. He would go on to lead all – I'll say that again. He would go on to lead all running backs in fantasy points scored from 8 to 17, week 8 to 17. Who's that? That's Christian McCaffrey, averaging 20.5 fantasy half points per game. Also first from week 8 onward, 13 games, including the postseason play. Mr. CMC, Mr. CMC, Mr. CMC. I want you to have that ingrained in Mr. FSP's brain. Averaged 19.5 points per game and 17.3 expected fantasy points per game. Both have ranked first. I'll say that again. Both have ranked first among all running backs in 2022. McCaffrey averaged nearly 20 touches per game. In a running back by committee, running back by committee system that Kyle Shanahan runs. 76% average snap share in non-blowout games while catching nearly 5 balls per game as the third highest graded running back. Even with the 49ers opening season with a very crowded offense in 2023, McCaffrey, while healthy, is the best bet to see the highest production among the talented group in San Francisco. Ingrain that in your brain, Mr. FSP. I'm going to say I told you so last year. I told you so last year. I told you so last year. And no, okay. I
mean, we agreed that he was the number one last year. And this year, I said he's the number one. You're like, no, he's not. He's going to regress. He's going to regress.
You had to come around to that.
But I did. And this year, you were the complete opposite.
I told you I was playing with numbers leading up to, and I've always said this. I've been consistent since January that all these mock drafts are a work in progress. I've said that ad nauseum. They're a work in progress.
Ad nauseum.
As I get closer to fantasy football season, and I've said this ad nauseum, I'm going to fine tune it, and I'm telling you, I told you earlier in the program, people, that this is getting closer. This fine tuning is getting closer to what I believe this first round of anybody's draft should be. That and this is June. We got 2-3 more months, 2 months at least, leading into August, where I'm going to say this is what I exactly believe. But this is very close. This is really very, very close. So, Mr. FSP, from 1 to 12, what's your thoughts overall?
Overall, like I said, I can't complain, but for maybe 1 or 2 players that I disagree with, I think this is more of a better representation of what should happen. I mean, some players can be jumbled around a little bit, but I think this is a better representation of what should happen in the fantasy world. I think people are going to do something differently.
Oh yeah, always.
But a winning strategy has always been to have a stud running back. And that stud running back has moved away from the power guy, Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, so on and so forth, to the Austin Ecklers, the CMCs, Jonathan Taylor, even though they run him and not throw the ball to him. I think that's going to change a little bit this year. You've improved. I give you good marks for improving. The teacher has had to yell at you a little bit all year long, and now you're finally coming around. So
I'm the teacher. I'm the teacher.
No.
Yeah, I'm the teacher.
You're the pupil. You're the pupil.
See, a good teacher tells you this is a work in progress. A good teacher saying this is I'm fine. A good teacher says stay tuned from month to month because this is going to vary. This is going to be surprising. And a good teacher is going to keep you intrigued.
I'll say this. As a former real teacher, we teach theory that has been applied and somewhat proven. In math, it's always proven because it's absolute. In science, you create hypotheses in order to prove your theory. You're trying to prove your theory now. So I will say you're a good teacher. You're not quite there yet.
In this 12-team draft, I have 7 running backs. 7 running. In this 12-team first-round draft, I have seven running backs.
That's why I said, listen, that's why I totally agreed with this, except for a couple players, that yes, it's more of a fantasy stud running back to start your team.
And I've always believed that. From day one, when we first talked about fantasy, I've always believed in getting a stud running back as a foundation in the beginning of your draft. And even though they say it's a passing league, these good teams have a very good running back, have a stud running back. They want to establish the run game before they start throwing the ball over the field. Now, so that said, I've fooled around. I fooled around different theories of majority of wide receivers versus running backs, and I've gone the other way: running backs versus wide receivers. And a good teacher stimulates the mind of people by doing a variety of things and creating conversation about
debate. Yes, I agree. I agree. But the really, really good ones, they give you the raw facts up front and then let you debate. So, hey, I'm not knocking you. You're good. You're a good instructor. You still got 2 more lessons. You got 2 more till you get the final.
Yeah, okay. Well, according to the story from Mr. FSP, but that whatever. Anyway, I want to thank you for joining me. And you want to preview? I know it's a week away, 6 days away, whatever it is. You want to preview your fantasy sports and politics show for Saturday, 1 p.m.
Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Mr. FSP proudly presents Fantasy Sports and Politics on Saturday. What the topic du jour will be, I thought about the AFC North. I was like, there's some trash. I'm joking. But we're going to talk about the AFC South. That's Jerry's actual favorite division. The Texans are there. You love him some Texans. You got the Colts. He loves him some Richardson. You got the Jaguars. And you got my boy, the King, and the Titans. So we're going to talk about them next week. We're going to try to give away some jerseys or a jersey. I've got some older jerseys that I want to give away, and I'm going to try to give them away for the divisions we're talking about. So I got a couple South jerseys, and maybe even a helmet or two.
Okay. All right, people. Next week, talking about fantasy, and I'll be letting you know what the subject matter is going to be on Saturday on the FSP show, or as we call it, Fantasy Sports and Politics. I want to thank Mr. FSP to you. A happy Father's Day again. Enjoy your day. Do you know that on the list of holidays where, and I said this earlier, where Father's Day lines up?
Well, I realize tomorrow is Juneteenth, so we better take out 24 hours and enjoy it while we can.
20th.
20th.
Halloween is 9th. Father's
Day 20th?
Father's Day on the list is 20th, and Halloween is 9th.
They just don't appreciate the blood, sweat, and tears we give. It's okay.
I think it's Christmas and then Mother's Day, and I can't remember all the other ones, but Father's Day is 20th.
It's okay. It's okay.
It is what it is, people. Thank you for joining me. Enjoy the rest of the day. Enjoy, Father. You enjoy your day. We're out of here. See ya.